the Gigonometry February Showcase, and we've just had the most amazing, outstanding performance from Mabel Archer, of which the 3 of the members have since expired, and we're left with 2. So we have on my left Rob. Thank you, Rob, for the wonderful performance tonight. And Emmett on my right. Don't know how right and left works when you actually see it. But anyway,
right now.
It's very confusing.
I'm Emmett.
Anyway, this is
you're
Emmett.
Dave. Right.
So Emmett, come here. How was the gig for you? Because to us it was absolutely cracking. Did it sound as good to you on stage as it sounded to us in the audience?
Yeah, I think so. We played I'd say over half our set tonight where we haven't played any of them live before, so it was interesting to hear them on stage. You know, I'd say we just need to road test them a little bit more, and then we might get a better understanding. But yeah, no, we love playing this, and yeah, thanks for having us.
Okay, no, our pleasure completely. And I know you're saying you maybe need to road test them a bit more and stuff. I think from the point of view of the audience, we would say, no, just do what you're doing. Sometimes we can get too intellectual about these things, and I know you were saying from the stage about new songs, Rob, and you know, if you cheer loud enough, then that gives us a good idea. I think we can safely say the new stuff is really good. How come the change of, it's not so much a change of direction, but a whole new raft of material, Rob? What's been going on?
Every time we start writing a new batch of songs, we kind of start at the last place that we left off, which in this case was probably The Warden, which has no live drums in it, right? So it was an awful lot of programming, and it was some of the glockenspiel in it. So I write the stuff at home on a laptop, and the samples start to just come in more and more and more and more and more. So there's 2 or 3 songs of the new stuff we did tonight that are sample heavy, and it's starting to really, really work for us in terms of layering up the sound, and we're kind of finding a voice, I think, now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's taken us like 3.5, 4 years to really feel that we are coherent in what we're doing and have a singular message that we're putting out sonically.
Yes. So good, so well put. But I totally get what you're saying, Emmett. Yeah.
You know, I think our second record was 4 very different songs, and we like them all, and each part of them are a different part of our band. Like, we had a song called The Descent, which is, you know, it's got a 2.5 minute strings outro, and so I don't think we'll be going there again, but we enjoyed doing that, and it was great to kind of experiment with all that sounds. But I think now we're just a little bit more focused and, I suppose, confident in our sound.
Oh, well, that's fantastic, isn't it? Wonderful. And I think it does take that kind of time, Rob, in fairness, you know. Even though you guys are, have been playing in bands for a long time, but even we had a band here recently, quite a young band, 19, 20 years of age. But they've been playing together since they were 12, And it does seem to take that kind of time, People have this idea that rock and roll bands can suddenly, X Factor style, if you like, suddenly become amazing. That just doesn't. It doesn't work. Sure,
no.
It doesn't.
Funnily enough, myself and the bass player have been playing together since 3rd year in school, so that's a good 5-6 years ago now. Actually, I think it's over 20 years at this stage with myself and himself have been playing together, and we've come to the stage now where automatically muscle memory, if there's a change coming up in a song, we run our hands up and down the fretboard in the same action almost. But it's taken this long, and this is a great part about being in a band, right, as opposed to being a singer-songwriter. Yes, I write a backing track, in effect, at home and give it to Emmett. Emmett writes the vocals, but it doesn't really become a song until we go into practice. And there's a lot of songs that myself and himself feel quite strong about, and we go in and they die a death at practice. So because we're a band, it's taken us 4 years for everybody to really get on the same page. Like proper... There's a record of coherent songs, so we're going to make an album now of 10 songs, and those 10 songs will sound like the same band.
It's so fascinating, the whole process, but also so exciting when it comes to that point, isn't it? It's really, really exciting, because I know what you're saying about just having the bass player, and you just have that kind of, I think, the chemistry, and you just know without having to even communicate it.
I don't need to look at him anymore, I just know what he's doing. No, that's true. Yeah.
Well, this is true as well. Those like twins. And come here, we were kind of having a bit of a banter just before the interview started, but you were telling me that you were playing in Wales and England last year, and you've gone back to play a gig in Bristol and stuff. We were talking about the valleys and the car breaking down in Wales and stuff like that. Awful Welsh accent, I'll admit, but go on.
That wasn't bad. We went to Wales outside of Cardiff, and I've never seen so many white eyeballs. Like they were actually just staring and listening. Where usually, it's kind of you'll get a song, and then it's like, oh, I'm finished my pint and going to the bar. Yeah. Everyone was just listening, and we sold loads of CDs, and loads of people came up, and they were really, really appreciative, and we were a little bit in shock, but it was a great place to play, and yeah. Wow. It was really enjoyable, good fun.
Is it something that you would recommend to other bands? Because we have a fantastic, quite incredible music scene in Ireland generally, with thousands of bands, but probably just not enough venues with audiences of that caliber that you've just described. Has it been a good learning experience for you guys? Was it good for your confidence?
The crazy thing about England. And the last trip to England was the 2 gigs that we did could not have been more polar opposite. So we did 1 gig right in the very centre of Camden Market,
arts centre,
right, in a venue that's owned by the English comedian on the panel show with the afro. I don't know his name, but he owns this. It's like the spot.
We'll edit that in later.
Yeah. He's white though. So it's basically the most trendy spot in Camden Town, and we played there to probably 35 people.
Yeah,
and it was a brilliant gig. And Graham Coxon has played there, Block Party have played there, all these massive bands have played there, and it was wonderful to be on the stage.
Beautiful sound,
absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then the next night we got in our Jeep with the 5 of us and all our gear in a very, very, very confined, hungover space, and we drove for about 600 miles to get to the venue in Wales. So we're expecting, I don't know, in some way to be in a city, because we don't know what we're doing really. We have 2 promoters helping us out over there, and we get to this literally like a rugby club, like a GA shed, right? And we're like, what the hell is going to happen here? It was proper Blues Brothers, like we play country and western. And
there's people actually who would have liked our Facebook page. We're going, oh, this is our home. What are you saying about our home? Can we edit this bit?
So,
I think you'll have to, because it's only across the pond, lad.
We're playing with this. We're lucky enough that this local band that has agreed to come down and play with us, and they're like these veterans that have been in these signed bands, right, in Wales for tens of years, and they open up for us. And we were saying beforehand, look lads, I know you do covers, but can you keep the covers to a minimum, because we're going to play all our own stuff, and it's going to be kind of hard to follow if you kind of play a load of big covers. And they were like, oh yeah, it's absolutely no problem, we will play no covers at all. I'm sort of half from Wales and half from India there.
Yeah.
But
I was going to order like a 450.
They finished their set with Ziggy Stardust into AC/DC into Killing in the Name of.
Yeah.
And then went, off you go, boys.
They kind of set you up there, didn't they?
These absolute townies that are all sitting like looking at us like this.
Yeah. Beat that. But you got the white eyeballs though, all the same, yeah?
And they just watched us from the second we started to the second we finished, and they were so into it. We sold like 50 records.
So they were totally up for it. That's amazing. That's amazing.
They've asked us to come back to do the same show again, and we absolutely will. So we're going to go over probably March and do Bristol, and maybe it's called Cumwarfan.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Again in March. And to answer your question about going to England, yes, Dublin has an unbelievably vibrant music scene, and there is a wealth of talent here. But for what we do, Ghostmaker got picked up by the BBC and played 4 or 5 times by, what was your man's name? Tom Robinson on the BBC. Was never even surfaced here. There's just a wider pool of people to play to in England.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the stories here about America, that you can sell 250,000 records in your hometown, make a living and never leave your hometown. England is just bigger.
Absolutely.
There's more.
Well, look, the population of Greater Manchester is the same as the population of Ireland, isn't that it? So this album, when are we going to see it? When is it going to come to fruition? Are we that well planned? Yeah.
Yep. So the first single will be out probably around the 1st of April.
Right.
And that's probably going to be the first song we play tonight.
Ambitious.
I think it's achievable.
Yeah.
And the other thing, interesting thing about the record is we're going to record everything ourselves. We're not using a producer, or
Okay.
well, we will use a producer to produce the singles, but everything else, and we're using the guy that did the Colour and the Shape of the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, great. Well, that looks. It sounds like exciting times ahead, and it's so good to have you back, lads. So thanks, really, incredibly from the bottom of our hearts, our stomachs, and our now ringing eardrums as well. You know, because it's really energetic. Just one last question: the content of the songs. Who actually writes the lyrics? And Emmett. Yeah. Okay. What's it all about? What drives you?
So I suppose I've tried to write kind of happier songs and songs about kind of love and things like that, and they just don't work. So like it's obviously a lot on the darker side. I suppose it's a lot what kind of impacts me. There's different things that like I won't get too deep on it, but sometimes you hear about things and you see things on TV and the radio, and they're quite. It's hard to say, but like it's generally they're always on the darker side. So yeah, I think like the Bataclan was kind of one that I think it impacted everybody and anybody who's ever been in a band and all of that stuff. So I think I don't know if you saw the interview with the guys from Eagles That Metal.
Yeah,
It was quite.
He's a almost
Such an
deep
emotional-
south
but he's an
hard
emotional
guy,
guy
and then
as
he
well.
just completely goes to pieces. And Josh Holm is with him, and he goes to pieces, and it's hard watching. Like you know,
Okay, so you're coming from that same.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
everybody can imagine. Well, when he describes what happened, you could have been that band on that stage on that night. And I think there's one song that we have that's on the new record that I don't think you intentionally made it about that, but when he sent me the lyrics, that's completely what I took out.
Things that need to be said.
Well,
and it's emotions that need to be got out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I suppose that a lot of the more commercial stuff, it'd be very easy to kind of go and write those songs that you almost sometimes when you hear a song you can finish the next sentence of them, and you know what they're about and all of that, and right or wrong we shy away from that. It's not something that we want to do or be. Now the thing is, if you put down a record contract and say, here, we need to get a #1 single, we might think differently, but no, I don't think so, and it's something that I'm much more comfortable talking about, and it's much and the last thing I'll say is that when you're singing to an audience, you need to really believe in what you're saying, and the audience will know if what you're saying is bullshit. And that's why everything that I try to write, I suppose, it comes from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful words, Emmett, and absolutely, I know we did talk quite a bit of bullshit before the interview started.
Yeah, what's the name of the band? Rapids.
Kind of Trip Hazard. Final plug. Emmett and Rob, thank you so much, and may 2016 be an absolutely wonderful for Abel Archer. Thank you.
Be there when you grow and when you start to grow.